When the cruise ship docked at the port of Haifa, I was in a temporary state of denial. It didn't immediately register in my mind that I was finally in the Holy Land. Looking out at the Haifa skyline from my cruise ship patio and seeing Mount Carmel in the background, I knew it was a dream come true. After passing through port security, we got in a taxi and drove for 2 hours all the way to Jerusalem. For such a small country, Israel has a lot to see. Whether you're here as part of a religious pilgrimage or just taking an exotic vacation, you're going to need about a month and a pretty healthy budget to travel around the country and visit all the sites that are must-see. Jerusalem's Old City is a great place to start. In fact, if you visit Israel or even Jerusalem, but not the Old City, then your visit doesn't even count. The Old City is where you'll find all the prominent religious sites. The Dome of the Rock, which is one of the holiest sites in Islam, the Western Wall, which is all that's left of King Herod's temple, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which was built over the tomb that Jesus was buried in, the Via Dolorosa, or Way of the Cross, King David's Tower, and so much more. The culture around here is just amazing. The cuisine and the street food are on point, and you'll never run out of little side streets and back alleys to explore, which is pretty fun if you're anything like me and you're curious about your surroundings. So let's start this off with a quick visit to the Western Wall. Of all the sites we visited in Israel, the Western Wall was by far the most crowded. We stood no chance of getting anywhere near that thing, but just to be there and see it with your own eyes really was a surreal experience.
Okay, so right behind me is the Western Wall. This is where people come to write their prayers down on a piece of paper and they stick them inside little crevices in the wall. They also put their hands on the wall and they pray to God for those prayers to be answered. This wall has been around since the time of King Herod. He was actually the one who orchestrated its construction, and it's one of the few remaining monuments that has been around from ancient Israel.
On the way back to the hotel, we found a nice hole-in-the-wall restaurant, which actually turned out to be a pretty big hole in the wall, and it looks like it's been around since Jesus was here. But after having a pretty good meal there and calling it a night, we got up early the next morning to meet with Akram, who's about to take us on a walking tour and show us some pretty cool stuff in and around the Old City.
Called the Tower of David, but it doesn't have to do anything with King David, by the way. It's like more related to King Herod. I don't know why they call it by David. Anyway, the lower part, as you can see, that it goes like you see the stones with the path around it. That's what we call the Herodian style of building. King Herod, he was a Jewish king who was loyal to the Romans, and he was appointed by the Romans because they didn't know how to deal with the Jewish community at that time. So it was easier for them to choose some guy who understands all the feasts, all the kosher issues, to make it easier for them. And this guy from the other side wasn't trusted so much by the Jewish community. And why is that? Actually, because they knew a fact about him, that his mother wasn't originally born as Jewish. She was converted to be Jew through her life. And that's why they suspected his faith a little bit. And that's why he decided to build the second temple, to show them that he's a real Jew and he really concerns about Jewish community. So he built 3 towers, as I mentioned, over there, over here. And one part of that you see it over here inside the museum itself. See another remains of another tower.
So is this the Armenian quarters?
Yes, you can say that. But we have all the Armenian religious schools over here. Okay, seminary, we call it. And then we have different pieces of the Armenian convent. Part of the Armenian, the biggest part of the Armenian part is actually located over here.
Okay.
You enter through, there's a guard always sitting over here, they're watching who is entering and getting out. They are a little bit like closed community, they're skeptic, they don't want to be mixed with the others.
Yeah.
And of course they name it by Mar Yaakov in Arabic, as you can see it. James or Jacob, same, like I mean the same, be careful. Disciple of Jesus, who's Jesus? One of the 12 disciples. See it here? Private part, people are not allowed, of course, to go over there unless you know somebody who invites you to come to his house. I've been there like several times, I have friends, but
it's all about those connections, huh?
Yeah. See? Or Armenians themselves, they are proud of themselves to be the first Christians as nation. They even were Christian before Constantine, the same story that he converted all the Roman Empire. In 324, he converted all the Roman Empire into Christianity. So the Armenians themselves were Christians as nation even before that. They believed in Jesus. Praying in kind of singing way. Yes, that's how it actually is read. In Armenian, of course, that's Armenian marriage. And probably that's their side. If we go to the whole Sepulchre church, we'll see it.
It's prayers.
It's prayers, yes, part. Like also, like it speaks somehow. And look at this part over here. It's called nakus in Arabic, which actually during the Ottoman period, where the Christians in the city, some of the periods, weren't allowed to ring the bells in the churches up. So they allowed them to do a board, has like a wooden hammer, and the priest, when the time comes to pray, he knocks on that. Till today they actually use the same way. As you can see, with the loud, comes with the hammer. See wooden one. You see also metal one from the other side. As you can see. So you see it in different Orthodox, mainly Christian churches. They can hear it. I mean, the community around here, they can hear it. Yes, especially when you have like not much noise. Also in the old times, no cars, not much movement. The city itself not that big with all the noises. They make services for the community itself. Franciscans, as I mentioned before, they are considered to be the guardians of the Holy Land. They're controlling most of the holy places in the Holy Land. And that's their cross, which is called also the Cross of Jerusalem. You see the big cross symbolizes the body of Jesus. Yes. The big cross symbolizes the body of Jesus, and the four small crosses symbolizes the wounds in his hands and feet. And another actually tradition says that actually these are the countries who showed the Crusades coming, the four countries. I mean the four nations, and the French, the English, Spanish, and Germans who came to the city during that period.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody make a falafel that looked like this.
This is the stuff with onion, sumac, spice inside.
It looks like a hot dog.
How much is this?
10 shekels.
How much
The falafel?
yeah.
We have with the spice, we have without the spice. This is with the spicy, this is without.
This is spicy?
One?
Which do you recommend? Spicy? All right. I gotta say, their culinary scene is very unique.
Yeah?
I never thought... It's a falafel. I never thought I would see one that looks like this. It looks like a bratwurst or something.
So this is a Catholic church, Benedictine German. As I said, Benedictines are joined this church, and they put these numbers as the only one. The others are all Roman numbers, by the way.
Oh.
I mean, around. Only this one is in Arabic. Why is that, you think?
I don't know, but I can tell you that's the thing that woke me up this morning.
Really? Okay. So you're familiar
Yeah.
with it. Okay, exactly. Anyway, they put this in Arabic because it's facing the old city. They wanted people, as you woke up, when they woke up and look what's the time, see it through their clock. I mean, but the numbers, which is in Arabic. So you see, they were friendly. So
Perfect.
Friendly to the community around. That's how they built the church itself. Now, unfortunately, because it's closed, when you get inside, that's the church on top, and then we have the crypt down. When you go down the crypt, there's a statue of Virgin Mary lying down. I mean, wooden statue, which is looks like very impressive and nice. Of course, people come and pray, and have different altars. Different nations actually decorated these altars inside the church building, the church, to have everyone and to have his own private altar during that period, 110 years ago. Was to really build new churches, to maintain the holy sites for the Christians, to take it back from the hands of the Muslims, and of course that was the purpose of that time. So they built this building and they covered the two sides. The Last Supper room with Jesus up there, and then the King David tomb underneath it. And all this part remained under their control for 88 years until the Muslims came and they took over, of course, the whole area. That's why they were fighting each other all the time. And the Muslims later on, they added a lot of rooms to the same building inside, over there. And they turned this place into a khan. Khan means hotel. And the Palestinian Muslim family, which is called the Jani family actually, controlled this part of this khan, this hotel, for 400 years. Till somehow 1967 Israel took over again the place, as I said, after the war, 6 days war. All the rooms there over there were given to a Jewish yeshiva, Jewish Orthodox school, Jewish studying Torah, Talmud all the day, they stay over there. And only the last upper room of Jesus up there and King David tomb underneath it remained under control of the Department of Religion of Israel because of the conflict about it. The Christians, the Franciscans wanted to have it back. The Muslims who controlled, as I said, the Khan wanted to have the room back or to keep it with them. And also the Jewish who actually stay in the King David tomb as a synagogue today underneath. They wanted to have the whole building with the whole compound.
100 years old, 900 years old.
Traditions, Muslim, Christian, and Jew. Actually, David himself was buried over here. And you can see like kind of a big monumental tomb, okay, showing, well, David himself was a short man. And why David was important for Jewish property, I mean, according to Jewish, David was the second king after Saul. And he united all the Jews, the tribes who were fighting for 200 years after the period of Moses. And he captured Jerusalem for them, and he made it the capital of all the Jews, and he established what they call the United States of Israel at that time. And David, as I said, was the king on all of this region. So that's why he's very famous. Again, as I said, tradition says that he's buried over here. Now today, this is they turned this place into a synagogue, but people, tourists are allowed to come and visit.
So I didn't know that there were homeless people inside the old city.
There are. Listen, most of these guys, they stay over here. Some of them are also kind of travelers, I can't say, but in the winter time, because they're looking for shelter and this place is open for everyone, so they come over here. Probably they are from outside, could be.
One thing I've noticed is there doesn't seem to be much of a police presence inside the old city. Is it pretty safe here?
In some areas, the Muslim quarter have more policemen. You will see it. And especially when you go to the entrances of the mosque today. That's because it's a tense area. Mostly it's about political issues.
Okay.
No criminals. No crime inside Jerusalem.
Okay.
Yes. Even if you go to West Jerusalem on the borders, you'll find that over there.
So if you want to go for a stroll at night, you don't have to worry about somebody jumping out from behind a wall and sticking you in the gut with a
totally safe. Yeah, if you don't find, meet any drunk guys or try to a little bit harass you or something, but the rest are all fine. No crime.
Okay, really. Cool.
The old city overlooks the Kidron Valley and the Garden of Gethsemane, which are right on the outskirts, and not much has changed about these places over the past 2,000 years. These places are where the most tragic moments of Jesus' life began.
The high priest was believing in Jesus himself, who was caught in the Gethsemane. At the other side of the mountain, the bottom of Mount of Olives, on the other side, you're going to see it soon, that's where we're going. He was dragged through this Kidron Valley, the valley over here is called Kidron Valley. Yeah. And he was dragged and he was put inside the prison.
Down through there.
Yeah. He was prisoned over there at the lower part. There's a kind of natural digged rock area. That's why they believe that Jesus actually was tied to one of their rings. That's how they were tying the people to the wall. That's how they did it. Okay, and he was kept Thursday evening over there, and Friday morning he was taken to the Antonia Fortress, as I said, to be judged by Pontius Pilate. Now today, if you enter the church, you have like 3 layers. We have the church on top, and then we have the courtyard. That's where they did the court for Jesus. And then he was prisoned, as I said, you see the prison at the lower part of the church. It belongs to the Assumptionist order. It's one of the actually French orders in Judaism.
Okay. And that's where Peter denied Jesus 3
that's why
times?
he denied him 3 times. As he told him, you denied me 3 times before the trees, olive trees.
Yes.
Here.
Okay, so tell us some good stuff about the Garden of Gethsemane.
Okay, Garden of Gethsemane is actually the place where, according to the Bible, Jesus was called the last night of his life. He was asking the disciples to watch him because he was praying, and he knew what's going to happen to him, and he was asking, please watch. And he was going back, according to, of course, the tradition. There was a rock over there, and that's where he was praying, in this area. And of course they were sleeping. He was passing a very hard time, this place, and he was asking God to remove this glass of agony for him, because he knew, as I said, was going to happen to him later. So the story says that he came here after he had his last dinner on Mount Zion. He came to this area and he was praying. All of the compound called Mount of Olives, because of the olives was covering all the mountain at that time. Today Franciscans themselves were actually controlling the same area. Also over here they kept all this garden. Today they are taking care of it. As you can see, the oldest tree, we're gonna see it from around. It refers to 800 years ago, but as you said before, they believe that actually these trees are siblings of the older trees that Jesus, actually during the time that Jesus was over here. Now the Gethsemane itself, the word means the olive press, according to Aramaic language, as they believe that there was some kind of olive press over here in this area, and that's why they call it Gethsemane.
The wall that surrounds the old city stands pretty much exactly where it did 2,000 years ago, but it is not 2,000 years old. It's actually only about 500, and that's because it was rebuilt by the Ottomans when they occupied the Levant, and I have to say their handiwork is pretty impressive. But anyway, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre is one of the most convenient sites to visit due to its proximity to the Jaffa Gate, and I preferred to visit it sooner rather than later.
This is the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Old City, Jerusalem. It's one of the holiest sites in Christianity, and the significance of it is it's believed to be the tomb where Jesus was buried and the site of his resurrection. This is the rock where Jesus was laid on before he was placed into the tomb.
So after we left the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, we noticed this reputable antique store just down the street, and it supposedly contained artifacts that dated back to the antediluvian period, and I could not resist the urge to stop in there and take a look.
This piece of pottery is antediluvian, meaning it came before the Great Flood. It's believed to be 3,000 or 3,200 to 4,000 years before Christ. Yeah. And all of your pottery comes with certificates of...
Yes, we are authorized dealer and we are recommended by Minister of Tourism. You can see the license there. See?
Okay.
We are authorized dealer and we are recommended by Minister
Where
of
do you
Tourism.
get this? Is it?
It's biblical, all from here, different places.
How much is that?
This one,
Yeah.
$6,800.
Oh,
Oh, I thought you said it wasn't
yeah.
$6,800.
Ooh-wee. You can't touch these.
I think I'll do my shopping at Walmart.
Walmart, not Kmart, not Kmart.
And or.
If you like, I have for less, if you like. Same period for less we have.
Like how much less?
We have for 1,800, 2,000, something like this, 3,000.
What's the absolute cheapest that you have? Bottom dollar.
From the same period,
Yes.
is 1,600.
Okay. Can you show me that?
So for how long you will be here?
A week.
Week. See, this is all by hand. This is no wheels in that time. You can see even the printing of the fingers. You see, it's all by hand. Look, 6,000 years old mug for beer. It's very, very, very unusual.
Can I see the certificate of authenticity that comes with this?
Yes, you will get certificate.
I want to understand how they determine stuff like this.
So you see it's so big different from 1993.
Yes.
A lot of
Yes.
changing.
Yes. I was trying.
I will write you which piece you buy, which,
But I don't know where it is.
and you will get our stamp. You see there?
It was a.
This is the only country is legal to deal with antiquities.
necklace, a pendant, and it had a Star of David in it. And it looked like the background, and the Star of David was gold, and the background was a, sand.
Thank you all for watching this video. It was a blessing to be able to go to a place like Israel and see what little I was actually able to see. Hopefully I get the chance to go back someday and maybe even make another video about it. In the meantime, please like and share this video. I very much appreciate the support, and once again, thank you for watching.